Hi everyone and welcome to this week's WARNO Dev Blog. Today we're talking about all things Suchet. No, I'm not talking about Poirot and David Suchet. Today we are talking about Louis Gabriel Suchet, one of the French Napoleonic marshals. So they tell us they have lots planned, not just this new update, but there'll be stuff coming before it, with it and after it. The list is going to be big, and today's dev blog is reasonable in size as a result. And some of the wargame fans will be very pleased with some of the things that are coming to the game soon. However, first things first, before we get into the game stuff, they always have their foreword about the marshal from the Napoleonic War. So this is all about Louis Gabriel Suchet. Now, he is noticeable for gaining his marshal baton in Spain, the place where the other French generals and commanders went and left their reputation in disgrace behind them. Like other marshals before him, Suchet rapidly rose in ranks thanks to his military abilities. Though after initial gains he found himself stuck in a dead-end assignment with little hope of advancement when he encountered Napoleon by chance in Venice. The young lieutenant colonel was surprisingly promoted on the spot, and continued service in Italy. He achieved his reputation during the battles of 1805 and 1806 before being ordered to Spain. There, Suchet invented the concept of modern counterinsurgency, understanding that to triumph over the guerrilla, you needed to win the hearts and minds of the local population. He was named a marshal after the siege of Tarragona, before ultimately being forced out of Spain in 1814. Louis Gabriel Suchet was, with Lannes Devout and Gouvion Saint-Cyr, one of the few marshals whom Napoleon could leave to operate on their own. He died of natural causes in 1826. Now, in fairness, we're not getting a huge amount of what to expect from Suchet itself at the moment, but what they're telling us right now to tease us is that we'll be getting two new divisions as we would expect. One is the French and the other British, and more news on this will follow next week. So keep your eyes peeled. So their next heading is indeed what else, because it's not just about Suchet. So they want to talk about some other elements and features coming around the next milestone, and some might actually drop before. One example of this is, they stay here multiplayer, but I think it will also apply to skirmish games. But basically, heavy machine gun teams will be introduced as infantry support units. These HMG teams will be featured on tripods, the same as recoilless rifles currently in the game. Some systems will include the 7.62mm M60 and the 12.7mm NSV, but will also extend it to automatic grenade launchers, including the AGS-17 and the Mark 19, and these new units will be added to all divisions. Amphibious capacity will be added to those vehicles equipped to do so. Better keep an eye out on those rivers. Who knows where the next attack will come from? Well, you know, thinking about it, it does make me wonder, are there cliff faces on the edge of some of the rivers, or do they all slope down towards the water on the maps? I actually haven't really looked, because they haven't actually added amphibious stuff yet, so I've not been paying that much attention. So it might actually be pretty obvious where they're going to come from if their river sides aren't sloping correctly. The next one, however, is a big one for me. As you all know, in Wargame Red Dragon, I love my 10v10 tactical destruction games. And yes, that's right, destruction mode is going to be added. The often requested destruction mode makes its glorious return, being high on the priority list. The map team is hard at work converting all the existing maps to this new game mode. FOBs. Yes, that's right, FOBs, forward operating bases, will make their return as a new feature as well. They don't specifically state how this is going to work at this stage. I don't know if that means they're going to be on the map, or if that means it's going to be one of these things where we've talked about sending your vehicles back off the map to get resupplied and bring them back in. I'm not sure how that's going to work, so we will wait and see. Sorry, Protoss, I know you're deeply offended by the fact they're going to add this back from Wargame Red Dragon, but for the Wargame Red Dragon fans, it is something we've been keen to get back in one form or another. Although I will say at this stage that they need to look at the resupply of artillery, in particular rocket artillery, and in particular the Birutino. You can't really allow that to rearm and resupply so fast as it is right now, especially if you're going to have a FOB or FOB variant available. Please do look at that, Eugen. Next up is a very interesting addition that I honestly wasn't expecting. ECM on helicopters. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to have on some of the modern helicopters, and indeed some of the more modern helicopters in-game will be equipped with this new ECM system. Though not as advanced as those found on planes, some rotorcraft will have flares installed. These specific flying machines that will have them at the moment are the KA-50, the Mi-24VP, and the AH-64 Apache. Pretty reasonable, I guess. I'll be keeping a very close eye on the Helo Rush play. However, that is not the end, there is even more coming. Next, alongside Suchet, they are also working on something interesting for single player, or as they call it, solo play. Features being released later down the line, such as the long-awaited Army General Strategic Turn-Based Campaign mode, which is coming along very nicely in the background. All the required units are modelled and placed, and with the order of battle completed, the formations and battalions crafted, the huge maps covering 2/3 of the Centag area of the inner German border are being built as we speak, or as I speak, and there are more details to come. They're also advancing well with the tutorials, which will teach all the important aspects of the game, from orders to ATGM combat and counter battery artillery. In short, scripted scenarios. Really pleased that they're adding tutorials. It's something that they've been missing from previous games. What's more, we are also working on special challenges. Steel Division 2 veterans will know these as historical battles. These will be single skirmish battles with fixed starting battle groups, special objectives and scripts. Hopefully all of this will be co-op. They don't mention it here, but I have my fingers crossed, as there was a lot of co-op play available in Steel Division 2. Other improvements that will be coming along the lines. Sometimes it's not about adding something new, but fixing or improving what is already in place. With Suchet, we'll be trying to address some of the following issues as well. Improving LGB's representation. Laser-guided bombs, you mean? I'm assuming that's what LGB means here. And then improving Seed's effectiveness. That is a necessary change. Seed is not great in the game right now. They also want to generally improve planes' behavior, especially auto strike. Hopefully there'll be some further adjustments to how they fly, and because I've mentioned a few times in my casts is how planes sometimes just turn and immediately fire off missiles even though they've only seen a unit for like a split second. I'm pretty sure it would take a few more seconds than that to get some kind of target lock. And I'll tell you what, if DCS is any indication, it takes the Su-25 ages to get a target lock. They're also going to further improve the UI's readability and more, but they're not telling us what more is at the moment. A little additional note that they add at the end here is that they're always on the hunt to improve the user interface of WARNO and make the game easier to understand and play. For instance, many hints are missing or being rewritten as we speak, and they are also reworking infantry cards to make each squad's role more intuitive to comprehend, as you can see on the screen now, though I would argue there's a couple of them here which make me question exactly what they are. For example, I don't quite understand the difference between the soldier that's looking to the side, the three soldiers that are sort of looking forward in a group, and the single soldier that's looking forward on its own. What is the difference between all of these three squads? Is it that the single soldier facing the side is shouting orders at the other one, so therefore it's a commander? Are the three soldiers just a bigger squad and the single soldier a small squad? Sorry, Eugen, I still think it needs some work to explain what the difference is between these ones. However, that is it for this week. That is the end of the dev blog. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, and subscribe. As always, if you like, stick around and I will stick a few pictures from their Instagram account on the end of the video for those who don't have Instagram and would like to have a look at what they're showing off. Well, for those who are staying with me, we will start with Eugen's very nice tribute to the late Queen Elizabeth II, who died last week at the age of 96. Now, they have titled this one London Bridge is Down. For those that don't know, this is the code name for the Queen's funeral, and indeed, it also obviously means the Queen of England has died as a code as well. Next up, Eugen have posted a very nice screenshot, which is very picturesque, by Distog from their Discord channel. Now, honestly, if you view this small and kind of zoomed out, it almost looks like an oil painting. Next up is a very nice shot of a Chinook HC1 on a supply run. The texture has been redone, and they missed this on the last build apparently. Next up is a nice up-close shot of the tracked rapier system, the anti-air unit for the British 1st Armoured Division. I'm not sure if we'll be getting anything different in the next British division, question mark, question mark. And quickly following on from that, we have another British vehicle, the FV-101 Scorpion British Armoured Reconnaissance Vehicle, all light tank. And they say, if it's aiming at you, believe me, it's a light tank. Next up, we have one of the oldies, the A-10 Warthog, a very nice underbelly shot of it, and they title this the Devil's Cross. And the last few images are things that are already in the dev blog, so I will leave it there. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned next week. We will have more from WARNO, both in terms of dev blog and the tournament. Have a fantastic weekend.